gentleman that's joined us today with, other than Eric, but, you know, really grateful, you know, sort of the women of impact who've taken their time out of their day to come and meet Eric. For some of you, I recognize you're on the grant committee. Others of you had the privilege, like I did, to go to the prize patrol and see Eric and experience his joy and enthusiasm over the receiving of the $100,000 grant. We're excited to learn from you today, Eric, to learn about the transformational change that you have envisioned for your organization as a result of this grant. We also have a commitment, you know, sort of short and long term, to be an ally to you and your organization, and really look forward to learning today and down the road how we can support you and your amazing organization. So Kelly does a great job of moderating the experience, and will walk us through the sort of the mechanics of the event. And really, Eric, thank you for taking time. As we heard from the questions that Deb was asking, you have two full-time hats that you wear. One as an FCA employee, and the other is it's the founder and executive director for the Lawn Academy. So mad props to you, and really excited that you're with us this morning. So Kelly, over to you.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, welcome everyone. And again, thank you, Eric. So I didn't have the great pleasure of going to the prize patrol, but I did get a chance to see your video and read your application. But for anyone who maybe didn't have that chance, could you give us just an overview of the Lawn Academy and starting with the overview of the Lawn Academy?
Okay, yes, the overview of the Lawn Academy. I started the Lawn Academy approximately 11 years ago in Dallas, Texas, before moving to Detroit. I did it in honor and memory of my mother. She was a career educator, Dr. Dolores Miller. She mainly specialized in special education. And her thought was that every youth has the capacity to learn, but we just all learn in different ways. We all do. So she thought that, and I would stay up with her sometimes doing lesson plans, things of that nature. And I could see how she had a creative approach in reaching youth, and also, you know, having that hook, you know, that thing that could really grab their attention for learning purposes. So that's something that always stuck with me. So when she passed, you know, I asked God one day, you know, what can I do to give back? What can I do? I've lived in 8 different cities, from New York to LA to Dallas to Milwaukee to St. Louis and other places. And what I saw was that the urban landscape looks the same, no matter where you go. Whether I lived in Orlando, Florida, if you go on Orange Street in Orlando, it looks like you're in Watts in LA. It's the same story. So the question was, what can I do to give back? My background is mechanical engineering. I thought about doing something like in the STEM area. And then it just came to me so plainly that, you know what, you're gonna lose 90% of the youth before you even start. Mm-hmm. You are. So then I reflected back, and it just I could see it today. I reflected back on my time in Memphis, Tennessee, when I was 7 years old, where my cousin, he taught me how to manicure lawns at 7 years old. And when I look back at it, most of the people that I took care of in Memphis, Tennessee were elderly. Miss Tappan, Miss Flagg, they're all elderly people in the city of Memphis, including my grandmother, Rosie Henderson. So then I thought about it. I said, wow, I remember how I felt at 7 years old in Memphis, pushing a lawnmower in the summertime. It gave me a sense of independence and a sense of awareness of others. So then it struck me to say, listen, you can teach the greatest of lessons through a lawn, through the most simplest of things, and that's a lawn. So that's where the word lawn and academy kind of came together to say, and God told me, you know, you're going to teach great lessons in life through youth that's doing the most simplest of things. So you're taking away all excuses. We didn't ask you if you are a scholar. We didn't ask you that. All we said was that, are you willing to go out, exert some effort, and help someone that's a senior or disabled or a veteran. So that's where Lawn Academy came about. And that's how it was given birth.
So you mentioned you're not from this area and you've lived
No.
in several different cities. How did you get it lifted off? I mean, I think many of us aren't from this area, and just moving in and of itself is challenging. And then creating and finding your own community is not easy. But how did you start this? Like, where did you even begin?
Okay, first of all, it started. I guess there was a lesson learned when I lived in St. Louis. Those that know East St. Louis, I don't know if East St. Louis is right across the bridge from St. Louis. It's in a place it's right across the bridge. It's really in Illinois. I started a program there. It was called Live, where anyone that knows about East St. Louis, it makes Highland Park look like a metroplex. So the story is nothing good comes out of East St. Louis. So my lesson learned was that we started a program there with youth. And with that program, we're able to see youth flourish in what you would call the most decimated of areas. But one thing I did learn about that was that when it comes to programming, you have to establish it so that the program has got to be bigger than you. It's got to be. And I learned that when I left St. Louis and went to Dallas, that the program could not sustain itself because I didn't give it the foundation to sustain without me. So the way the Lawn Academy was established from the beginning, right after we moved to Detroit, we went to 7 Mile and Evergreen, those that know the Detroit area. We would meet there every Saturday morning. I would be there with my son and one other youth. That's how we started. And what we said was that we're gonna start a program where we don't advertise, because it's not about advertising. It's gonna be about results. And then the second thing was gonna be, if it's good, the program was always built around, if it's good enough for my son, it's good enough. So if you look at how we structured the Lawn Academy, if you go to our offices, if you go to everything that touches the Lawn Academy, it's built on the premise of, I'm doing it as if it's my son, my daughter, that's a part of this. So it's top quality throughout. And I tell volunteers and everyone else, nothing less than top notch is acceptable. No, it's not. So we built the Lawn Academy. So we're almost in every neighborhood in the city of Detroit without any advertising. So youth see what we're doing. Parents see what we're doing and they want to be a part. So that's how we grew. We grew from 2 youth to almost over 80 youth without advertising it for that reason, because they could see the results. They could see the results in their kids. And matter of fact, I just had a story that came out yesterday from the Pollination Project. I was selected to be a part of the Pollination Project. It's like a global organization that gives a grant out per year. So I'm part of their advisory team. And they reached out to one of the mothers of the program. She has twins in the program. I didn't know that she was that pleased with the program, but she said, listen, she could see the growth in her youth. And she sees how the Lawn Academy has touched the way that they think about life itself. And to me, that's what it's all about. If we're making that type of an impact where the mother can see it or the father can see it, that's the impact that we need. That's the impact.
Eric, this is Deb Cisco. What happens when the kids go? What is the routine? What do they do when they get there? What does the detail of the program looks like?
Okay, the detail of the program looks like this. During the summertime, the Lawn Academy was mainly a summer to summer program, just a summer program whereby youth would come together. We would Uh, we're in the Collingwood area right now. If you go to, I don't know if you guys know the Durfee Innovation Society, that building. Okay, we're in room 206 and 208. Okay, well, that's where we are.
Eric, I'm sorry to interrupt. That's the life remodeled
That's
space,
the Life
correct?
Remodel building,
Okay.
yes. Yes, and we're room 206, 208. The way the program looks is that the youth come together during the summertime. We start off in that one area, we take care of around 150 seniors right in that area. And the amazing thing about it, if you have around 50 youth with lawnmowers, they get it done in like 4 hours, 6 hours. That's how long it takes. It's amazing how it happens. So that's how it looks. But then 2 years ago, we received the grant from Skillman, and because the purpose of the grant was to say, to go from summer and not see the youth until the next summer was too long of a time. So what that grant did was that it allowed us to move into the Durfee Innovation Society, where we created an after school program, where we told the youth, after school, you have the ability to come in and we're gonna provide, we have food for you. We provide we provide after school help for you, homework, things of that nature. So what the program looks like today is that, but the only problem with that building is that we can only accommodate 15 people there. Only 15, right? And with social distancing now, we're trying to reinvent what we're doing with the e-learning type of a model. But that's basically what the program kind of looks like. But the ultimate thing I'm trying to accomplish with this program is what you can see. I just updated something at 3 o'clock this morning, 4 o'clock this morning on Facebook and on Twitter. That's really where I want it to go, whereby you have youth that grow up through the program or youth that are part of the program later on. They go away and they come back and they contribute. So right now, I have 16 youth that are coming back through AmeriCorps this summer. They're going to be the mentors for the program and the supervisors for this summer program. So on Facebook and on Twitter, you can see them, and on Instagram, you can see, and so I'm putting out their pictures so people can see this is ultimately what we want. And that's the voice the youth need to hear. And that is the voice of somebody that went through the program and that's going to come back to contribute. Yes.
And then it becomes self-sufficient, right? As you mentioned, it doesn't depend only on you. It's a whole cycle by itself.
Thanks for saying that. And to go back to that cycle, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something that's self-reliant. We teach the youth all the time, and I tell the youth, I say, listen, there is nothing worse to me than seeing a young person that grows up as an adult that's dependent the rest of their life. We drive around. When we're looking around, I say, look, just look at your environment. Look at what's going on. You have people that are dependent the rest of their lives on someone else to help them and feed them and things of that nature. I said, that does not have to be you. So what we have to do is we have to give you, we call it the 6 C's of youth development. And by doing that, we're going to teach you to be self-reliant. And this is what this thing is about, to say that, that first C is competency, where we tell the youth, listen, the bar of achievement is high. And guess what? I owe it to you to let you know that bar of achievement, it rises every day. So what we thought was acceptable today, guess what? That bar goes up all the time. And I owe it to you to let you know that bar is high, but you can make it. And then a second C is confidence. Youth have to have the confidence to even reach for the bar. And the thing that gets me the most is that the parents cannot give up on their kids. And I see it all the time. It's not that the kid doesn't want it. The parent has given up. That the parents give up. They don't see what everyone else can see in their kids, and that's greatness. So that's one of the biggest challenges I face is parents understanding that you have to have confidence in your kids. Don't give up on them. Do not give up. So that's their confidence. So that's why we work at Wayne County Community College District. We put the youth in the college classroom as early as age 11 to let them sit in a college classroom and say they take MAC, they take PC, they take professional development, where they can see that, you know what, they can sit in the college classroom and say, you know what, this I can do. I can do this. So we have actual teachers coming out in the summertime, college professors, they're teaching the youth. That's what they do, right? And then the third C is connection. I make sure that the youth are connected with people that can help them to reach up and not people that are pulling them down. So my major thing I tell them is that look around. If you have 5 friends, you probably have 3 friends too many. If you have 5 friends, you have to constantly examine people that's around you. You probably have 3 of them that shouldn't be around you. You probably need 1 or 2 friends. That's all you need. That's it. Let's call it what it is, right? So you need people that's going to help you to reach that bar. So what we do is we surround the youth with people that help them to reach up. So we work with the police department. If you go out to the 10th precinct right by Durfee, by Life Remodel, the youth are with the police department all the time in the summertime, all the time. The police are they constantly encourage the youth. They know the police by name. And also, the police help them with, how to, we have a seminar where they teach them, how to pick the right friends. Because especially when you get this time to start driving, because what the police see all the time is that it's not the driver that's the problem. Normally, it's the person in the back seat with the gun. And the police tell the youth that all the time. If you don't know who your surroundings are, who you're connected with, most youth that go to jail is not because they're the ones with the gun in the car. It's because they're driving someone else. And guess what? Everyone goes to jail. And guess what? Now you're just driving, and next thing you know, you have a record. So connection is big. Connection is big with me. Then the 4th C, what I tell youth is that a lot of people can reach the bar of achievement, but guess what? They don't have the internal fortitude. They don't have the character that's going to allow them to stay where they are. So that's why that 4th C is very important. So that's where we pick up the character piece when it comes to cutting the line, taking care of the 90, 80-year-olds, doing those type of things. That's developing character amongst youth. And then once you do that, and I tell the youth, you have to do the work. And what you start to see is it's a 5th C that emerges. And that 5th C is compassion. You start to develop a compassion for others, because now you start saying, okay, that's Miss Jones's house. I see people around Miss Jones's house that shouldn't be there. So the youth become caregivers for that society, for the area. For instance, we had one senior citizen, she was robbed 5 times in 1 year, 5 times, 5. And the problem is she has a handicap sign in front of the house. And I told the youth, there's a big lesson to be learned here. Some people see that handicap sign. You see that handicap sign as a youth. You see it as, that's a person that needs care. That's a person that has a caregiver that needs a place to park every day. That's why the handicap sign is there. But guess what other people see? People see that person as easy prey. So when we came to offer something that was free for her, she initially turned it down because she did not want any youth close to her house. And I told the youth, don't be discouraged with that. You have to understand, that's just, understand her environment, understand her situation. Now she loves us. She loves the youth. In the Collingwood area, The youth knocked at 150 houses. There was one person that answered the door. One. They knocked on 150 houses. I had to keep the youth encouraged. I said, listen, you have to understand, this is the situation that exists. When a person sees an African-American male knocking at their door, they're not going to answer, no matter what the gift is in their hand. It's not going to happen. That's a tough lesson I had to teach the kids that day, because they were hurt. They thought they were going to go out and just offer this great service to the people in Durfee and knock on doors and get people to say, wow, thanks a lot, you're doing a great thing. Only one person answered the door the whole time out of 150 homes. So I said, listen, we can't be defeated. So what I ended up doing was getting with the block club president, Miss Peoples, in that area. And I said, Miss Peoples, listen. And this was 3 years ago. I said, Miss Peoples, I got a group of great young folks, great folks. They want to do positive things, but we need a way in because no one is going to open the door for them. So what I need you to do, Miss Peoples, could you go out and solicit people in the neighborhood to see if we could provide this free service? Miss Peoples came back to me because she had questions of me that were asked by most of the neighbors. The number one question that they had was, are these juvenile offenders that are these felons, are these juvenile offenders that are, on some type of work release program? I said, no, Miss Peoples, these are 7th, 8th graders who want to do something positive. So of the 150 people, she probably had around 30 people that said yes. When we're in the neighborhood, I had senior citizens, everybody just coming out crying. They were crying that day. They said, listen, Mr. Miller, you showed me something that I never see. I don't see it on the news. I don't see this story. I see all of these people, all these young Black kids. They're all doing something positive. This is a story I never see on the news. They came to me and said, listen, you're restoring my faith in society, and you're restoring my faith in just in society, in youth. Because this is a story that's never told. Every time I turn on the news, this is not the story I see. So we came out, we did 30 homes. The 30 homes came out to be 50 homes. The 50 homes came out to be 70. Then all of a sudden, when we go to the neighborhood, you would always see, it's comical in a way to me. You'd always see the blinds kind of open up. So someone is kind of looking, someone looking out the first home. Then we tell them, just stay in the house. We'll take care of the house. So you see the blinds over here, you see the blinds. The next thing you know, the next time we come there, the person comes out on the porch. And then the next time we come, they're out in the yard talking to the kids, where I have to tell the seniors, now listen, it's dangerous. You gotta, we have machinery, grass is shooting around. You have to go back in the house. Miss Johnson, you got to go back in the house. Or what I do is I give you some goggles so you can put them on so nothing don't fly you out or whatever. But that's the story. So, and I tell that story for one reason, and that is, we talk about doing things that's gonna make a change and make a difference with youth. And sometimes all they need is an opportunity. They wanted to do something great. But we had to create that avenue and that canvas for them to do that. So that's the 5th C, and that's compassion, where youth develop an empathy for those in the community. But it's the 6th C that I want. So out of all the C's, the C that means the most is the 6th one. And every psychologist tells you, once those first 5 C's start to emerge, it's the 6th one That's the most important one, and that's contribution. A youth now have the necessary tools in their tool belt to come back to their society, come back to their community, come back to their families, and they can be a contributor to society and not a taker. It's the 6C, but it takes a whole lot. It takes a lot to get to that 6-1. And that's why I'm so encouraged. You know, I was up at 3 o'clock this morning. I think I posted stuff on Facebook at 4, 5, and 6 this morning, just because I was so excited with the youth that I have. I have one youth, she graduated from DePaul University. Got other youth, you know, they're in different colleges, here, and here. So they're all coming back to help. So we talk about this cycle of self-reliance. That's how you build the cycle. So the biggest thing I love about this grant and about this situation, you guys got to understand my heart on this one. We're teaching youth to be self-reliant. I don't want to have a program whereby I'm always reliant. I don't want that. I don't want that. I told everyone we're going to change the game. So what this is going to do for the east side of Detroit, we're going to utilize the money we did a lease versus buy analysis. We know what our breakpoints needs to be. And what we're going to do is we're going to purchase a building that can be multifunctional, whereby we can lease part of the building out. It's going to be at a going in price whereby our total expenditures cannot be over $36,000 per year. So what we're going to make up with that, we're going to make it up with leases. We're going to have contracts, landscaping contracts that we're going to have. And then the third thing, we're working with Cisco Networking Academy, whereby we're already connected with Cisco Networking Academy, the LAN Academy. Those that know Cisco, the backbone of computers and networking, right? So what Cisco does today for us in the summertime, we have it's called global problem solving. It's a cartoon type of curriculum through Cisco, where we can teach youth networking through cartoons. And it is built so that in 4 or 5 years, a youth can learn programming. Cisco is going to give us the platform to teach networking to companies. So right now we have a relationship with Wayne County Community College District. They're one of the few organizations in Detroit that have the expertise to teach Cisco programming. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up a Cisco Academy, whereby the money coming in for people to take those courses. So between that, between the landscaping contract, and between the subleasing, that building is going to be self-sustained in 3 years. So that's our plan. So our plan is 0 donations needed after 3 years. That's our plan. And then I feel like we're now not just saying something to youth, but we're actually exemplifying self-reliance. And that's the lesson we're trying to teach youth. So a lot to get there. Thanks. Thanks, Kelly. Long answer for that.
That is absolutely incredible. So a few questions. Number one, can you clarify, what are the students doing in the winter months?
Well, a year and a half ago, did you know Micro, world's dirtiest jobs?
Dirty jobs, yeah.
The dirty jobs guy, yeah. Someone called me from New York wanting to do a story on the LAN Academy. Lo and behold, it was Micro. They came to Detroit. They heard our story. They did a show. If you look at his show, Returning the Favor. They did it was like a reality show, right? I always thought reality shows were fake until it happened to me. They got me. So what they did was they gifted us a truck, a trailer, and also 4 industrial snowblowers, right? With those 4 industrial snowblowers, what we've been practicing, this is how it sits. You know, we had a very light this winter. I hate that. You know, I want to use those snowblowers. But what we did was we tested it out. So we have a ton of seniors that would love for us to plow their snow, and that's what we want to do. So we tested it out. We did it for some of our veterans that's close by, and we had a mobile unit that would go out and take care of some of our seniors. So that's what we're doing with us on a limited scale. Snow blowing is a tough one because you have to drive to where you're going. So where I really want to do, what I really like to do with the hub, and by us having a hub, let's say, so wherever the hub is, that's where we want to store our equipment. And our hub is going to be located whereby within a neighborhood area. So the goal is to say, wherever our hub is going to be located, let's say on the east side, we're going to have our equipment there. So if it snows or whatever, we're going to take care of a concentric mile, right? And that's how we're going to do it moving forward. It cuts down on cost of gas. Like right now, all of our equipment is stored in Rochester Hills. Believe it or not, everything is in Rochester. And it's for a couple of reasons. First reason, all of our equipment was stolen a year and a half ago. That's why Mike Rowe heard about us, because of that. And so we're looking for a more secure place to put our equipment. But in the meantime, I just said we can't afford to lose all of our equipment again. So every day during the summertime, we drove out to Rochester Hills, pick up the equipment, we bring it in, and every afternoon we drive it all the way back out. That's our short-term solution until we get our hub.
So you are the students, you mentioned that you haven't had to advertise, it's been kind of word of mouth. Are the students all pretty much from the same neighborhood and they're going to the Durfee area, or is that's just kind of your central spot right now?
Good thing you said that. So right now, the students are from almost every neighborhood in Detroit, almost everyone. And that's why, if you look at the demographics of Detroit, around 60% of the youth are on the west side of Detroit. Okay, so the Durfee area, we're able to, a lot of youth are able to make it over to Durfee, let's say. And I can't say that, no, that's wrong. The problem with the Durfee area is that those that have been in life remodeled, the parents there tell me they cannot have their kids to go to the program if we can't drive them home, even if they're 1 block away. Like someone came to me and said, hey, Eric, why don't you give the kids bicycles? I said, you can't give a kid a bike in Detroit. No, they're going to get jacked before they get home. You can't do that, even if they're 1 block away. No. So what we did a year ago, we purchased a 15-passenger van. So for the after school program, that's what we do. So we pick up like some kids from Mumford High School, some kids from the Durfee area. They're kind of from all over. So if they're able to make it to the program in the afternoon, we'll take them home to their door. Okay. The problem with the east side, I have a lot of kids on the east side of Detroit. They cannot even participate, period, for the most part. So that's where the east location is going to help us. So by us now locating an east side location, we're going to be able to connect with a lot of youth that's currently on the east side that can't come over to Durfee, as well as a lot of the youth that we know we're going to gain just by being in that area. Excuse me, guys. I don't know why I'm sniffling. Excuse me.
Does anyone else have questions? Or, I mean, I can keep asking questions, but I just want to make sure I allow the opportunity for anyone who'd like to. Kathy.
Well, I get the impression that the majority of the kids, maybe all, are males. Do you have any girls that participate, or how is that?
Right, you got to look at our pictures. Look at the website. What it is that up until 3 years ago, the Lawn Academy was all male because we were attacking the biggest deficit. The biggest gap in most cities would be males, young African American males, when it comes to graduation rates and also with crime. And also the third thing, and that's why we're so close to the police department, within any major city, the most valuable asset in most African American communities is a youth, a male between the age of 11 to 14 to sell drugs. Just so you know. So what happens is that that age group is so sought after to be recruited for gangs and selling drugs. And that's why we have the police around, right? So you can see it. I mean, when we're out, you see it. So people are trying to attract the kids all the time, especially the young males, because they need them. The only way you're going to sell drugs is you got to have a kid that go to school with drugs. That's the only way you get into the school system. That's the only way you get in. So what we try to do is, that's why we started at age 11 for that reason. So if you talk to most educators or whatever, most of the kids that get caught with drugs that selling in the schools are ages 11, 12, 13. Because in that area, once you get to be 17 years old, you're too old. You're too old. You're no good. And that's why you see most of the deaths in Detroit are people that are 17, 18, 19 years old, because you're expendable at that age. You're expendable. Because if you get caught, you're going to jail. You're not going to juvenile hall. You're going to go to jail. So you're not as much of an asset. So that's why the focus was on males for that reason, because they are attacked on so many different ends. So that was it. But 3 years ago, it was a young lady by the name of Jerica Douglas. She was the first female for the Lawn Academy. She kicked those guys behind. She ran loops. She ran loops around all of the guys, all of them. She just outdid them all. Since that time, so within 2 years, the Lawn Academy is 30% female now. It's 30%, because so what happened was that, because even a lot of females were like, okay, had mothers, hey, do you have any females? I said, yes, absolutely. So I would show them Miss Douglas. Now Miss Douglas, she's going to college. She's doing, Henry Ford. She's doing a great job. She wants to be a nurse, things of that nature. And but I'm just so thankful that she was the first one, because she showed the guys, listen, the young women can take care of business. So that was great. So we're 30% female.
So a question came in. You had mentioned that a number of the students that you've been with had gone through college and have kind of gone through the program. Have any of them come back and expressed interest in creating their own businesses and maybe even their own lawn businesses?
Yes. So right now, matter of fact, I have a couple of youth that want to do that. So we just established a relationship with JVS Human Services, JVS. So JVS this summer, that's why I kind of hate that we're social distancing this summer. JVS, they've been working with us. We've created a curriculum in coordination with Wayne County Community College District. It's called Entrepreneurialism, whereby JVS had an 8-week course that they were going to be providing this summer. And what we were going to have was a pop-up lawnmower business, repair business. So what we said was that, okay, what the youth are going to be able to do, they're going to be able to learn the entrepreneurial skills, bookkeeping, all those type of things from JVS, and then apply those real life principles to their own lawn repair business. So we're going to try to do something offshoot of that, because this summer, if you don't know, we're being encouraged to have all the youth to do 100% virtual lessons this summer. So all the youth are going to be in the home this summer, all of them. So what we're doing, I had my brother, he was my hero. He's been flying in from out of town from Memphis. And let's say within a week and a half, he was able to take care of 140 lawns for me, right? So that's how we're doing. So we're contracting out the lawn care, because I have 90 plus year olds, and they become dependent on us. They can't pick up a lawn bill. They just can't. So we said, whatever it takes, we're going to get the lawns taken care of. So we mapped out the top 180 seniors, those that needed the most, and that's who we're taking care of this summer with the contractor. My brother, he's doing a lot of it, and the contractor. And then for this summer, once again, all the youth are going to do virtual learning. And JBS is going to provide one of the packets. Once again, because I have about 4 or 5 youth that would like to go into landscaping. Yeah.
So what's the reason why the children can't come together and do it over the summer? Is it social
It's
distancing
COVID. It's
or-
COVID. So what happened? And that's for the whole city of Detroit, right? So, um, um, another attribute of the Lawn Academy is that Mayor Duggan found out about what we do, and it was made part of his summer jobs initiative also, right? You know, where it's 8,000 youth that receive summer employment, right? So what you're going to see in the city of Detroit this summer, all 8,000 youth, no one is going to be outside. No one. Right. So, yeah. So the summer program for the city of Detroit, all youth are being asked to learn virtually. Right. So
So you have a
Eric.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask, how are they learning virtually? So does each one of the kids have like laptops? How does that work?
right. So it's funny you said that because that's what I'm working on right now. What's going to happen? First of all, there's going to be something called virtual job shadow. It's like um, it's a learning platform that the city is going to be using this summer for the youth, teaching them different, giving them exposure to different jobs and things of that nature through on a virtual platform. We're taking a survey right now of how many youth require either internet and laptops. And as of yesterday, what I'm hearing is that those youth that attend a public school, since the city of Detroit is going to be providing laptops for all the kids, I think what's going to happen over the next week and a half is that those youth are going to be given loaners from the school system. And right now, I think there's a program, I have to get more information from Comcast, whereby the youth will also receive, for the summertime, free internet service. Right. So we're taking that survey now with all the youth. So we're going through that right now. And that is a challenge.
So we have
Mhm.
someone who asked if you're accepting donations of laptops.
Right now, I would say no, in as much as I guess I want to assess where we are first, because I always like to do a needs based. I just like to accept just because it's whatever. I want to make sure that the need is there. So what's going to happen once again? There may not be a need come a week from now, because once again, I think the city of Detroit is going to be providing every youth a laptop,
Yeah.
plus internet access. But if you ask me that question a week from now, the answer may change. But as of right now, and we're kicking off in a week and a half, or 2 weeks from now, we kick off. So we haven't seen a laptop yet, but I'm being told that's being taken care of.
So you have such a close relationship with these students, and I'm curious. We've talked a lot with Impact 100 about mental health, and just your perspective of how the kids are handling this right now, not only with COVID, but with all of the racial tensions and injustices that are coming even more to light. Where are there areas that maybe we need to be more aware, or places that we could potentially be helpful?
Right. I would say 2 areas. Number one, from a from a food perspective, what I'm really finding out, and I had to learn this firsthand, is that because and it threw me off because I was thinking, okay, out of all the food giveaways and things of that nature, how is it that a person can't get access to food right now? But but I have youth, no transportation. So if you're living in an area where there's no transportation, you can't drive to a food shelter, or you can't drive to you can't drive to like the Salvation pickup area. So one thing that we have been doing is that we have been, picking up food from like Salvation Army and other places and donating food and driving it to some of the houses. So that seems to be always a need, and that's food. Um, yeah, that's one thing. Then the second thing is like you said, during this time, um, I, I just think it's just so unique where um, um, from a mental health perspective, uh, it's a lot. It's a lot for the youth. I can't sugarcoat it. It's just a lot. Um, um, because you have to sit in some of the forums to see what I'm talking about with the youth. Because when you sit in the forum with the youth, one of their number one is two issues that they have that's predominant. The first issue is that they feel as if there's no one that's there to cheer them on. As simple as that may sound, and to me, I would have missed that because I asked the question, what do you need for support? What do you need from me? What can I help out with? Their number one thing was, and these were, teenagers. Their number one thing was, if I'm doing something right, could someone just let me know that? Could someone, if I'm doing something good, can somebody just, say, good job? I would have missed that if I wouldn't ask the question, because I'm thinking technology, I'm thinking, you need some classes, you need this. No. They just wanted someone that's gonna say good job. And to me, that sounds like a parent, that sounds like a whatever, but that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So that's why if you look at how the program is shaping up, I'm shaping up having mentors. That's why you see the folks on the website, you'll see them, where they can be those coaches. They can be the ones that's gonna reach out to them. I have the University of Iowa. They came to Detroit. They spent time with us. So I'm linking the youth up with mentors that can just simply tell them, good job. But it's big. But it's big. And then the second thing is that, and then we talk about the Black Lives Matter and things of that nature, because I have them to sit down with the police officers to have a conversation. We do it every summer. The number one question to police officers, their question is, why are you guys so aggressive toward us? Why are you aggressive? What? And the police officers, they say, we want to go home too, and this and that, and things are, it's difficult out there, So the police officers, they have their viewpoint. They say, what? Hey, we don't know who has a gun. We don't, it's a lot of things going on all the time. So their standpoint is always one of almost like survival. I want to go home to my wife, my kids, or whatever. But in doing so, they take a very ultra aggressive approach. And it's a big issue. It's a big issue. And that's why I'm so excited about what I'm seeing today. Because I don't know of a state that I lived in, especially when I lived in New York. I got stopped almost like on a weekly basis by police officers. We have a plant in Tappan, New York. It's a historic area. I had a Stealth. Those that know cars, Chrysler. I had a Stealth at the time. Every time I drove in a neighborhood, I got stopped. Every time. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I got stopped. The police would not let me go. I had to go downtown. I had to go to Manhattan one day because police just wouldn't let me go. They said, well, you know, things don't look right. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm leaving the plant. I was working the second, third shift. I'm getting off. Police stops me. You're helpless. It's a situation where you can't. People say, well, you ask the police for the name, badge, and all that junk. No, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. No, that doesn't work unless there's a body cam. So at the end of the day, I know I'm not the best giver of advice probably for youth because I have a history of being stopped all the time by police officers because I always had a decent car. I worked for Chrysler, I had decent cars. And for some reason, if I go in the neighborhood, I'm always going to get stopped, always. And if I ask, why you stopped me, well, don't look like you put on your blinker or something stupid, right? So once again, during this time, this is a real issue. And what I would encourage people to say is that I saw a commercial, and that's why I'm telling the youth to look at a commercial. And anyone that don't understand what the black male sees, there's a commercial about Procter & Gamble that they put out. And I said, wow, Procter & Gamble took the time, they nailed that one. Because I said, every one of those situations I've personally seen. It's called Look, the Look. So you look at Procter & Gamble and look up the Look. That's the problem. So if anyone asks you, what is the problem? That is the problem. And it's so passive aggressive that it's ultra aggressive. But it shapes everything what this conversation is about. It shapes the whole conversation. And I was going to write a letter or something to Procter & Gamble and say, I applaud you for taking the time to create that video, The Look. It's a commercial. It sums it up. And I think anyone looking at that, you look at it and say, okay, that's a big problem. So I don't think it's solved by any one or two things. It's solved by so many different layers of so many different things. If you look at the commercial, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because that gentleman in that commercial, he was a judge, one of the most respected professions that you have. But for a judge to not be in his place of his sanctuary, had to deal with certain things that we consider everyday life. But we talk about those 6 C's of youth development. When you look at the video of The Look, it takes away one of the most important components before you get going with the youth, and it's confidence. It strips you of your confidence. So when people ask me, what do youth need? What do youth need? I'm not concerned about material things with youth. They need confidence. And when you see that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have to develop a way to give youth the confidence that they need to excel. Because if you look at the 6 C's of development, confidence is number 2. So before you get out the gate, you have to have confidence to go down the road. So that's what I'm really working on, a program that we work with Wayne County Community College District. We work with the police officers. We do a lot of things. And a lot of those things are done to inspire youth and to provide them the confidence to even start the journey.
Well, Eric, thank you so much. I'm looking at the time. We have 2 minutes, and I don't want to let you go without making an ask. Is there something right now that obviously you have our $100,000 and our incredible admiration, but is there something going on right now that you need, that you just want to put out? I'm a big believer, you put it out there and you never know what might come back. Do you have any ask right now?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Or need?
Yeah, so right now I have 3 AmeriCorps youth, and also I got a chance to get in contact with one of the attorneys from one of the Jaffe, David Jaffe. He's I think he's one of the Impact 100 husbands of one of the wives. But what we're looking to do is we're looking for a building on the east side. And if you know someone in real estate that knows how to, really make things happen. But I know the market is softening. I know this is a bad time to buy because the market has not reached its low point yet. And I know that it's a lot of mid-sized businesses, unfortunately, that's going to be going out of business in the next month or 2 or 3. But it would be good if I could have someone that could, or have someone that can have their eyes open to say, Eric, this is the time, because we want to maximize, our buying opportunity and our spending dollars by not buying too high in the market, but also hitting it just about right. So we're looking at something that's around 6,000 square feet that can be used for the purpose that we talked about. And but right now, I just know today is not the day to buy real estate. But I don't know when that low is going to be. I'm just hearing, So if someone is in that space, right?
Very good.
Right.
I believe you put it out in the world and it'll come back at you. So you've got the power of all these people, and we'll put it out on our network as well.
Yeah, and my fault. I think I got a little emotion this morning and things like that, sniffling and everything. But just, I just want to tell you guys, you're awesome. Number one, number two, because I was talking to my wife and I talked to some other folks, and what I said was, it's just been such a cool thing to be the recipient of the grant. Because I said, like any other, first of all, this is probably the most intense grant process I've ever gone through, which is awesome. And what I love about it is because it just confirmed within us that, we have some things in place that are, that are good. And also for a person to give up their personal dollars to have a vote, to me, that means a lot. That's everything. So you don't have like a board of people that had nothing to do with the monies that's being donated to vote on something. No, you're having folks that actually have their hard-earned dollars or whatever that they're voting in on something. So to me, I think it just changed the whole game. It just means a lot to me. And I just want to thank every one of you guys, just everyone. A big hug to you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're grateful. We do it because of people out there. You're the nonprofit hero, and we're just the one who gets to stand and give you the confidence to continue to grow, because it's really amazing what you're doing. And I think I can speak for everyone on the call still, and then all the other 180 some of us that we were just moved and inspired by what you're doing. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love
Thank
your
you guys for
passion.
your time this morning. I missed that.
We love your passion.
Oh, well, thanks. Yes.
Yeah, don't change your emotion is one of your superpowers.
Absolutely.
Don't you change that.
Thanks, guys. And thanks a lot for this morning. Just great spending time with you this morning. I just thank you for everything. I really
Well,
do.
thank you. And hopefully we'll find you the right spot on the east side when the time's right.
When the time is right, yes. Okay. And have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.